And good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Fuse from Rising Phoenix Toastmasters, and we're here. Welcome back to District 44 Monday Night Live. And I'm excited to have not only the International Director of Region 8, but actually a fellow member of the Rising Phoenix Toastmaster Club, Roy Ganga. Roy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you doing?
I am doing great, Jim. Thank you for having me on here.
Yes. Well, our goal is to share voices throughout the district, get people to learn about what Toastmasters is about. This is on our Facebook page for District 44. This is on the YouTube channel. So if you're watching live or on replay, go ahead and share this with your friends or with somebody that you think could learn to know more about Toastmasters and how it can help us. Because you know what they say, Toastmasters is where leaders are made. And Roy, you're a perfect example of that. I know every once in a while we get to chat about that and some of the things that have led you to where you are today. And what I admire for one, because you started a little bit younger than I did, but it wasn't like you started when you were in your teens or your 20s. You came into this a little bit more. And so I know today we wanted to talk about a little bit about resilience in growth and leadership. And so, Roy, tell us what got you started in Toastmasters and tell us a little bit about yourself as well.
Definitely. What got me started in Toastmasters? I've heard the term Toastmasters before. And I was in my prime, in my 20s. I heard the term Toastmasters, but never knew much about it, never really investigated what it was all about. And nobody pushed me. I just heard the term, but nobody never pushed me. Not until I moved to Georgia in 2000. Then is when a club was being formed at the company I was working for. And they asked if I want to be a part of it because they needed members. And I said, sure, why not? I have no regrets because I remember that very first, like maybe many of you out here, the very first icebreaker, the very first table topic question where you wanted to vomit and never come back to the meeting again. And that is what made me realize that I needed help because I thought I was okay. You know, many of us think that we're okay, right? Not until we get involved in this program that we realize how much we learn. So my journey started in pretty much 2001. And as I looked back, this program has done so much for me. It has transformed my life. Of people who knew me prior to Toastmasters, they would all, when they see me, ask, what happened? And my answer is always Toastmasters happened. Because if it wasn't for Toastmasters, the things that I can do today, I probably could have done them 20 years ago, but didn't have the courage to do it because that self-confidence was lacking. And this program teaches you definitely how to improve that self-confidence, how to improve your leadership skills. My career took off. It escalated after the first year of me being in this program. I saw the changes in myself. My management saw the changes in myself. My team saw the changes in me. And they said, hey, we want to be a part of this. We want to see what transformed you from that shy introvert person to this more confident leader who can really get out there and articulate yourself. And I've been challenging everybody that I've come in touch with. Be a part of this. Just give it a shot. If it works for you, fine. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine also. But at least you give it a shot if you really want to improve yourself. And Jim, as you see in a club environment as well, we see a lot of people out there who are very shy. They're very smart, very educated individuals. But it's that lack of self-confidence that we find where we're afraid that if we get up in front of an audience to speak or say something to anyone, it's like, how will they take that message? And that nerves inside of us is what prevents us from really extending ourselves to others. And this program teaches you how to do that. Practice makes perfect, and we can do it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, and that's one of the things I've really appreciated is being around, yourself and people like Kim Gibson and some of the other great leaders that we have, not only in our club but in District 44, Vicky Nothling, Roxanne, Rush. I mean, then the list goes on and on. And you don't realize what Toastmasters is about until you actually go check it out. I mean, we all have these misperceptions. I know for me, wasn't really sure what to think, but Jeff Sheehan invited me, and it's made a big difference just for me. I realize how much I still had to learn. I think that's the beauty of Toastmasters as well, right, Roy? We're always learning, right? We're learning about new cultures, new things. We meet new people, and what's been fascinating for those that have really embraced it is how even though we were like in a sense not able to meet in person over this last year plus, actually being able to meet virtually has opened up some doors and networking and opportunities that I don't think we would have thought about. Even though Toastmasters is an international organization, I mean, you've probably, well, not to mention, tell us what Region 8 covers so people have an understanding of all the places that you're meeting with people from.
Yeah. Well, right now in my current position, I just don't represent a region, right? I represent the entire organization, being a member of the board of directors. So every country, every member in this organization is what I represent. By taking to the board their struggles, and let's see how we can shape policies to help make this district better, the organization better in the future. But when I was in the region advisor a couple of years ago, Region 8, which we're in, right? Our district is part of Region 8, which encompasses all of Georgia, which has 2 districts, District 14 and 44, then all of Florida, which has 3 districts out there. Then you have, staying in the US, you have Alabama, which has Alabama plus parts of Mississippi and parts of Florida. The Florida Panhandle area is also part of that district. Then you have the entire Caribbean, which is 28 different countries or territories, as they like to say, that makes up District 81, which is the Caribbean, and then going a little further south, Brazil. So I had the privilege of representing the entire Region 8 as a region advisor, and it was a very eye-opening experience for me, because the different places you visited are different cultures. And the way we may do things in Rising Phoenix Toastmasters, other clubs do it different. Some clubs is very serious in the way they take this and very professional. Some clubs are very laid back in the way they learn. But that's the environment. And that is why I tell people, if you are joining this program, visit a few clubs and see which one resonates with you, because your style may be different from my style. And you want to find a culture where you will fit well with those groups of individuals, where you can learn based on that culture that you're involved with. There's so many clubs that we can get involved with and so many different learning abilities. But the bottom line is that we all learn the same program. We all learn from that, and we understand how to build on those, the program and the different levels as we advance up there. Every club should be given opportunities to do that. But in this organization, as I said at the opening of this conversation, I have no regrets. I could have walked away. Many of us could have walked away based on the fear that we first experienced. And pushing yourself to get over that hump is what's going to make you or break you. And if you really want to succeed, if you really want to be a better leader, a better individual who can really get your message across clear, this is the place to do it. Because the club environment is like a lab. Think of it as a laboratory where you come in there, you practice the skills that you want to develop and hone, and then you go back to either your professional lives or within your community, and you now can deliver based on the things you practice. And people will look at you so different because you can clearly express what you intend to say out there, and how you can get people to listen to you is a big factor in Toastmasters.
Yeah, it definitely sharpens the saw, as we like to say. And so, Roy, how has it really helped you? You've talked a little bit about it, but maybe how can it help others build their resilience and their growth and leadership? Because I don't think some people realize it, or if you're someone watching that maybe has a business, we have what we call corporate clubs. It doesn't have to be just a group of people. So if you even want to make your own organization, people stronger, right? Because I think a lot of times, right, organizational development is critical to success.
It is because in every corporation need talented individuals. That's why they hire people, right? It's people who can perform their job or do the tasks that they expect them to do. And when you look at the individuals, when you look at teamwork, when you look within the group of people you're working with, communication is key. And if you cannot communicate well with your team or your management or the people that works for you, they will not respect you. They will not respect your decision because they're going to think to themselves, you really don't know what you're doing. You really don't know how to lead us. But great leaders are effective communicators or vice versa, right? You have to be a good communicator in order to be a really effective leader out there, because that's the only way you can really help your team get there. So in corporations, this program works more like an employee development program, right? You have training programs on how companies will teach them how to work the system, how to access their database, how to interpret their data, what it means. This program supplements that. This program comes in and teaches you how to be a better leader, how to work those skills that you already have, right? And hone them to be better communicators and better leaders, because we want to make sure that people can articulate what they are saying. It's very important. It's a very important component of communication. And a lot of us don't realize that. I, for example, didn't know that when I was working in a corporate environment. I would be in meetings, yes, and if somebody is getting bored, I would tune them out, right? I learned how to block them out from the meetings. But after I realized I need to start listening to people, because I would go back to my desk and said, what the heck did they just say, right? But after I start listening to them a little bit more, then I clearly understand, because you have to understand the different styles of people, how they work. And you need to sit back a little. So corporations take this very seriously as an employee development program to develop your leaders, to develop them as better communicators, especially if they're the sales force. You need to be able to get them out there to communicate with their customers out there. Internally, they communicate among their teams and be able to shine and stand up there and represent this organization for what it really is. Within the community, this program also works very well in communities. I know, for example, all of us, anybody who's watching here today too, all of us at some point in time went to a social event, and people would come up to us and start asking questions and talking to us. But if you have that fear and those butterflies take over inside immediately, then you will shut down, right? You will know how to respond. But this program, through one of the components of what we do in our club meeting, Table Topics, teaches us how to speak on the cuff. And we can formulate an answer so fast that anybody out there would look at us and saying, my gosh, you are so super smart, right? But it's the way we think, and we can process that question in our head and be able to respond appropriately.
Oh, absolutely. And I think too, right there, it's like it's some of the little things. It's understanding, I think I always find it humorous inside. You may find it the same way. Is you start to, after a while, as you've been around Toastmasters, analyzing when people are speaking, and so you notice little things like ums and ahs, and if they like to repeat little words and things of that nature. But then you also realize, like, it's just the magic sometimes of the pause, and that you don't always have to be filling, that sentence with unneeded words. And that's definitely something I feel that Toastmasters has helped me develop from a speaking perspective. And I think Table Topics is another great example of that, because you've got a very short period of time to respond. It's 2 minutes max, 1 to 2 minutes, but it makes you think, right? It makes you sharper, and that has so many applications, both in business and in your personal life.
Yep, and you can't go without it. You need to have that sharp mind. It's good for especially somebody like me now who's getting up in my age. You need to be able to keep that brain working, and Table Topics will help you get there. But it goes right back to your question you asked earlier about how does it really help somebody grow and become a better leader or become a better version of themselves, right? Do not take it for granted If you are a member of this organization within your club environment, make sure you get the opportunity to participate in the meetings. Not only speaking, because speaking, yes, we're here, right? That is what a lot of people think Toastmasters is all about, is that we come here, we give speeches. It's not only that, it's working that leadership aspect of it. Because in the meetings, you have so many opportunities to lead. You have to lead the meeting. You can be the person to lead the meeting or lead different sections of the meeting. Each of those build up each other. So by the time you're finished, within the first, I always tell people the first 5 speeches or from every aspect of the program, you know how much you have grown over that period, because you are practicing what you are supposed to be doing. You go out there, you keep practicing, and you come back into the meeting and you get those immediate feedback from the way you present yourself, and you take that feedback and you improve on another presentation that you do. So one thing after the other, and you can be so much more effective, I find, in your career, especially if you apply the skills that you learn here in Toastmasters.
Well, and even the fact, Roy, and you're a perfect example of that, how you could start out where you're nothing more like, hey, I'm going to go to these meetings, I'm going to learn how to be a better speaker. But then if you're willing to take that leadership initiative, it's not even just the leadership within a meeting, but you can then become a leader in your club, in your district, and beyond. And that's what you have done. And that is all stuff that is going to help give you confidence in other areas of your life. And it's also, I don't think people realize the powerful networking that can occur by being a member of Toastmasters. I mean, it's 4,000 members just in District 4 alone, but then, this is a worldwide organization.
It's amazing. We come to our club meetings where we may have 20, 30 members, and you sit there with those folks maybe week after week or a month or how frequent your club meet, and you get used to them, right? You understand their style, you get up there, the nerves eventually disappear. But when you take it to the next level, for example, as you mentioned, you started in the club. A member, when you join the club, you join for your personal gains, right? What is it you want to work on and improve? It could be communication skills, it could be your leadership style, a combination of both, or just getting those nerves, those jitters away from your body, right? But once you get into the club environment, there's so much more. You have club leaders, and we want to introduce members early into those club leadership roles, especially them observing what's going on with the club leaders. And right now in a club environment, you have 7 officers, starting with the president all the way down to what we call a sergeant at arms, or the person who logistically takes care of the meeting. You can serve in any one of those leadership roles. And you will find how much, even at that level within the club environment, how your leadership can take off and grow a little bit, because now you're gaining that confidence. You're gaining the confidence among yourself to lead your club to success, or work with teams and help to collaborate on some points that you may want to do within your club to make it better. Then you challenge yourself to step out from your club environment. And that is where leadership really grows in this organization, is after you step out from your comfort zone in that club environment and get out to what we call the area or the division or the district level. It is so powerful by the time you get to the district level, how much your life has changed in the ways of you leading very effectively a group of people. And if you're working at the same time, you can see how that change transforms immediately in your work environment, because you're able now to lead meetings more effectively. Things like following a basic agenda. And how many times have you, or many of our guests out there, how many times have they been in a meeting in their career, in their environment, and the facilitator or people in the meeting, they don't even stick to the point of the meeting when they get in there. They just ramble on. Here, if you're a leader in that meeting and you're a Toastmaster, you will be able how to bring that meeting back together to the topic of what needs to be discussed. And that is a plus in this thing here. And that is where I saw I excelled a lot. Because once I got on that leadership track, I saw the big changes in me. Look at me today. I'm an international director, right? When I started in Toastmasters, I had no clue that what the club officers do, much as what the district leaders do, and how that will benefit me. But I learn, I observe, because this is a program by also learning by observing. And I observe what others did and how well and effectively they have done it. And I said, that is what I want to be. And I kept moving. And I kept moving up the ladder, and I got to where I needed to be. And here now, this year, I started my international director journey. For the next 2 years, I'll be helping this organization grow and find strategies to make it better for the future, to get us to where we need to be in the future. And one thing I'm going to, on this note here, when I first got started working, maybe about, I want to say about 20 years ago, not when I first started working, about 20 years ago, I had a boss who would get up and just speak like that. And you can bring him to any occasion, and this guy can really engage the audience. And I sat there a couple of times and I'm listening to him and said, how does he do it? How can he get up and just engage an audience like that? And without notes, without anything. And I said, that is what I would love to do someday. And today, I may not be as good as he is, but I am there. Because I can get up now in front of thousands of people and speak without those butterflies getting to me, or without having to maybe even rehearse my speech. Once I know the subject that I want to speak about, you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Because there's no magic formula of what you need to do to memorize something. Because to me, if you memorize it over and over, it's like it becomes so boring because it's the same thing you regurgitate in every time. But if you let it flow from your tongue like that and from your mind, it becomes more natural. And that is the one thing I wanted to do. And I felt I accomplished it in this organization.
I think you've done a pretty good job of that, Roy. So, Roy, final question. You're now you're in the big leagues. What exciting things can you share about about the future of Toastmasters? I know there's some things you can't tell us, but what is it that you can share about it? And maybe share some things coming up that you know about in the district as well that people should be looking forward to.
Okay. Jem, there's so many things that the board has been working on. Outside, when I was outside of the board, I always wonder what it is that they do behind the scenes I don't know about. But now that I'm there, I know what they do, right? I have a good understanding of what they do. It's more looking at the future of this organization. Where do we want to take it? You're going to find that this past year, because of the pandemic, it forced us to do things that we probably would have done a few years down the road, but it forced us to work on this remote environment, work online and learn online. And that's the future. That's the future of every corporation, is being able to have that hybrid environment. Toastmasters this past year has taught us how to engage people using the camera, using these teleconferences, this video messaging, and meetings, holding meetings where we can engage everyone to make them, to get them to where we need to be. So the future of this organization is really incorporating that hybrid model to make sure that members can still get the benefits of the program through face-to-face, or if they would like to do it from home or their office, because we know the priorities of life, takes over sometimes. There are other things we worked on. I think a lot of the district leaders understood or they have received communications regarding some of additional type of recognitions we are doing for the districts because of the situation we were in. The districts are working very hard, the leaders, and even the members at the club level, they're working very hard. But because of the situation we are in, they may not be able to achieve the goals that was set for them at the beginning of the year. So there were some additional things that the board took into consideration, realizing that these districts needed some more assistance to help get them there, along with some additional incentives that were published earlier. And within our district, District 44, we're having a big event coming up on, I think it's the weekend of May 1st. The district annual conference is starting May 1st, I think, on May 8th. It's a staggered process, and I think on our website it lists the different events that are happening there. Fortunately, yours truly is going to be the keynote speaker on the opening day for that event, so please come out there and listen to me. And this weekend, there is also a parking lot party, which I am going to miss, unfortunately, because I have another event to go to. But I would have loved to be there, because this is one of a kind, where we're having this parking lot party to come out there, and everybody can celebrate and party in that parking lot within their cars, or stay, safe distance and practice those things. But coming back to the conference, it's the year of awesomeness. And I tell you, our district director have done a phenomenal job with the club growth director, the program quality director, the rest of the leaders and within this district to keep our members engaged and keep the communication going with them, so that they knew that this is temporary, and to make sure that everybody was still engaged and still participating in the program was very effective. So my message is going to be, I'm just going to give you a quick thing of it. My message to all of you at the conference when you get there is how to make sure you keep the fire burning inside of you, right? Finding that purpose, finding that passion, and getting out there to make things happen for you. Because here is where you learn, how you help you to find that purpose and passion in life, and what it is that you need to do to ignite that fire within.
That's awesome. Anything that well, I guess, here's the thing I've seen too is, and you brought up a great point. I think there are people that are still afraid of the virtual, and I think that's the one thing that I think that Toastmasters is allowing you to do. If you're not comfortable with virtual, you join a Toastmasters club. There's some that are going to probably stay virtual. Get comfortable with that, whether it's Zoom or whatever, because this isn't going to go away, and you're going to need these skills, and you're able to do this in a very safe environment. That's one thing I would say, that everybody is so supportive of each other in these clubs. And to your point, Roy, find a club you're comfortable with. Don't feel like you've got to join the first club you show up at. I mean, what would you add to that?
I would say the skills that we are learning now, based on this hybrid environment, well, right now it's this virtual environment we're in. Think of it, no cooperation. Or I would be very surprised if a corporation still does this after we're out of COVID. We'll fly somebody from California to Atlanta for a 2-day business meeting any longer. That will be to those organizations, and it all can be done through what we're doing here today. Skype, Zoom, whatever we want to, medium you take, but it is going to be so effective for this corporation. And if you can master those skills of engaging people virtually, you will have edge over your peers, competitors, because you can really work it. And it's not just sitting and talking to somebody in the camera. It's how do you engage them in the audience, using those body languages that we learn, using those eye contact to reel them in, especially if somebody's fallen asleep in your meeting. How do you get them back to where they need to be? So you have to master those skills in order to get them back to where they need to be. So we need to practice this thing. So folks out there, if you're a Toastmaster, I've heard the mixed messages of, I like it virtually, or I like it face-to-face. Well, we will have that soon. Once this problem is over, this COVID-19 situation is over, you have a choice of going back to in-person or virtually or hybrid. And Jim, you mentioned it there. We're going to have, I would say, the bulk of our clubs remaining in a hybrid situation, and people have the opportunity to do both. The folks who love the face-to-face will continue to be there. The folks who enjoy the virtual environment can be there as well. But I would tell you, if you really want to develop your leadership skills, here is the place to do it, because that self-confidence that you are going to gain from the program is going to excel and propel your leadership skills to the next level.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Roy. And for those of you that want to connect with Roy, go find him over on LinkedIn. Because I know I've tried to find you on Twitter, Roy, but I think you're hidden right now. We'll have to fix that. But connect with Roy on LinkedIn. He's an amazing human being, and I'm glad that we become friends over the last couple years, Roy. So thank you so much for joining us on District 44 Monday Night Live. We'll be back next week. Not sure who the guest is going to be. I like to make that a surprise. I even surprise myself sometimes because my normal co-host will be back after the conference. But we would love to have you back, Roy, and maybe you can get the international president of Toastmasters to come talk to us. Maybe I'll throw out that challenge too. We'd love to have him join us and tell us more. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm not afraid. I'll talk to anybody.
Will do. I can help. No, I can help bridge that gap. That's not a problem. I'll do it.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Jim.
Again.
Thank you for having me here tonight, and thank you, District 44, and our guests there.
Yes, thanks everyone, and we will see you next week.